everybody. This is Chazz Says Anything, episode 61, Aftermath, Beginnings, and Start of the Christmas season. Sorry, I will start, excuse me, started a little late. I came in, I forgot I didn't do my picks for week 11 for the college picks, so I'm a little behind on that. We'll do that during. You're not late, whoever's watching now. I do apologize. I just came on. And we will start with what I always start with. If you like what you see and like what you hear, please click the subscribe button on the bottom right-hand corner. As you can see, let me get rid of that. You can see that I voted. I hope all you did too. I'm not going to talk politics. I'm not going to talk about election results. I don't want to even see it in the comments because this is not that type of show. This is not what I want to talk about. There's a lot of sports to talk about, so we will talk about sports. And the first thing we will talk about, since it's kind of fresh, the aftermath of the Dodgers' 4-1 win over the Yankees. Last week, they were playing game 4 or 5. I forget what it was. It was disheartening. There's no doubt. I got ribbed by a Dodger fan at work. It is what it is. You know, they were the better team. Plain and simple. They were the better team. We had, dumb plays in the outfield. Aaron Judge being one of those, and he knows it. And we just couldn't hit enough. I mean, most of those games were like 4-1, whatever it was. Like, we didn't have home run after home run after home run. That wasn't it. That wasn't that, and that's what the Yankees were about, and we couldn't get that done. So that was that. Okay. I don't know why I have one bar. I plugged everything in. Anyway, there we go. I got more bars. Okay. And someone heard me. So, like I said, this playoff World Series was a disappointment. I mourned for the day after that they lost. You see, I'm wearing it now. We're on to the offseason, okay? MLB offseason, where players are already out, and other players, they wanted to go. But there was breaking news last night, as I was doing all this. After triggering an opt-out, Cole is staying, meaning that the right-handed is still signed to a contract with $144 million remaining through 2028 with the Yankees on the existing deal. Here's the article. First off, it was reported, like I just said, by Jeff Passan. Right-hander Garrett Cole is remaining with New York Yankees on 4-year, $144 million deal that he had opted out originally, told to ESPN. Discussions on a potential contract extension will continue. Essentially, it's the same as if Cole did not opt out. Okay. I guess that's business. So, as reported by the MLB Yankee guy, Brian Hawk, Garrett Cole continues to live his childhood dream each day that he can call himself the ace of the New York Yankees. All right, let's continue. That's pontificating. After triggering a contractual opt-out this past weekend that could have made him a free agent, Cole and the Yankees agreed to continue the deal as it was originally constituted, meaning that the right-hander is still signed. I said that already. Cole and the Yankees may someday entertain extension talks concerning the 2029 season and beyond, General Manager Brian Cashman said. But that can take place at a later date. Cashman said that the club decision makers were quote, weren't necessarily comfortable voiding the opt-out by adding a year and $36 million to the deal, which was communicated to Cole and agent Scott Boras. Quote, we wanted our player and our ace back. He certainly didn't want to go either, Cashman said at the GM meetings in San Antonio. They're already at San Antonio. This is how fast baseball is. Baseball's done. We go to general manager meetings, and then you go to the winter meetings, which are in December. We had a lot of healthy dialogue about trying to thread the needle and keep it in play. We could always talk further as we move forward about the future. Cole, now 34, is signed to a 9-year, $324 million contract with the Yankees prior to the 2020 season. Cashman said that managing partner Hal Steinbrenner and team president Randy Levine were involved in the discussions about a potential extension, with advancing talks prompting an extension from Sunday to Monday. Here's my thing with Cole being extended. He's now 34. So that's 2024 into 2025. He's 34 years old. He turns 40 in 6 years. That's the 29-30 season. I know pitchers can play to 40. Maybe that's what he's thinking he can do. If that's the truth of it, then I hope that much of that money is more now than later, because, and Derek Jeter will say the same thing. He did more now than later. Or, I mean, actually, let me reverse that. I think Jeter did the opposite. Either way, I think a more now than later would be good. I think with a lot of money coming off the books, the fact that Cole still has money on the table, Judge still has money on the table, this leads me to what I want to talk about more about who's going, who's coming, this and that. So, let me talk about Monday morning quarterback for baseball. Where is it? Here it is. I'm not going to read all of it. Got a comment already, I see. Do you think the winter meetings are in person? Or they're in person. They've been in person for the last 2 years. They, if I remember correctly, 2021, because remember 2020, they did have the winter meeting. No, I'm sorry. Go back. 2020, they did have the winter meetings in virtual. Maybe 21 as well. But as of 22, I think they all went back to Florida. Like, that's where it's always been. That's probably what it always will be. So there's that. So Monday morning quarterback. What did the Athletics say? Brian Murphy specifically. He said, who will win the World Series? I had too many papers there. So the vote on this question was mighty close to no surprise. The Yankees and Dodgers are stacked with offense. Standouts coming off the impressive performance during their respective league. So why? Okay, this is why they said the Dodgers would win. Both lineups are absolutely relentless, but I give a slight advantage to the Dodgers for their depth behind the superstars. The real question is, when the Dodgers win, will they get a photo shoot of Decoy with the trophy? I don't know who Decoy is. Don't overlook the fact that the Yankees got to the World Series by beating teams that ranked 20th Royals and tied for 16th Guardians in Major League WRC Plus this season. Now, whatever that means, that obviously is correct to what happened in this series. The Dodgers bullpen will compensate for the rotation shortcomings, all while Ohtani leads an offensive onslaught that will be too much for the Yankees to overcome. He was a little incorrect on that. It was not Ohtani who did this. Freeman was the catalyst to most of why we lost. And Ohtani did okay. He just wasn't the guy. Let's be real about this. It was Freeman. It was Betts a little bit, and you had Teoscar Hernandez, who I know very well. I had him in my fantasy baseball league, and honestly, it was also Edman, the shortstop. He had some flubs. Granted, he didn't do well in the World Series. He did better in the League Championship Series against the Mets, but Edman really was also a cog in that. Why the Yankees would have won. The Dodgers have somehow managed not to run out of pitching throughout the first 2 rounds. I don't think they can continue to pull it off against this Yankees offense. Well, guess what? They did. The Dodger offense can score runs in bunches, as we saw in the NLCS against the Mets. But Dave Roberts had painstakingly managed tired bullpen to defeat the Mets, and he did. But they had days off, and so did the Yankees. But guess what? It didn't matter. Dodgers actually won. For all the talk of the bullpenning that's going to take place throughout the World Series, this series, to me, comes down to which team can squeeze the most out of its rotation. I give the Yankees the slightest edge, mostly because I trust Garrett Cole more than anyone in the Dodgers will send to the mound. But you know who didn't trust Garrett Cole? Aaron Boone. That's who didn't trust Garrett Cole. Like, that was just a joke of a series, in my opinion. We could have done better. We should have done better. We did not do better. The guys at the Athletic got it right with, what the Dodgers had. All right. Next, could two-time All-Star closer be on the trade block? Let's partake. So this, I'll go from what happened October 3rd. I don't know what happened today or yesterday in baseball. I do apologize. I don't have that. I only have October 31st to the 3rd. So starting October 31st on Halloween, qualifying offer candidates can extend into okay, let me rephrase it. The topic is qualifying offer candidates. QO candidates, if you know the term. Teams can extend qualifying offers to select free agents each offseason. Players who accept are assigned to a 1-year deal for the next season for the designated value. Those who do not accept the remaining free that's all, folks. Those who do not accept remain free agents, and if a new team signs them, their old team receives a draft pick compensation. So that's where you see this when they draft. If you actually do watch the MLB draft, you'll see round 1, and then you'll see round 1 compensation, round 2 compensation. That's what this is. Also is 2025 option decisions, which is what you heard with Garrett Cole. The deadline by which players and teams must make option decisions for the 2025 season is Monday, which was last Monday. This includes opt-outs, player options, club options, and mutual options. And the 2024-2025 free agent class, Soto, Burns, Alonso, Bregman, Willie Adams, Max Fried are among the top players reaching free agency in 2024. You can check out the full list, which I do have a full list. Also, Soto eyeing record deal. Many clubs already showing interest. The amount of teams was up to 8. It's probably down to 5. But know that the Mets, the Yankees, the Dodgers, I hear the Blue Jays, and there is another team. Weirdly enough, it's either I've heard Washington and I've also heard San Diego. I don't know if those are real, but that's an interesting take on that if that's true. Martinez hits free agency after opting out. So Nick Martinez of the Reds has opted out of his final year of his 2-year, $26 million contract with the Reds. So 34-year-old is mostly pitched in relief. So that's probably, if you don't know him, that's who that is. Teoscar and Flaherty expressed desire to return to Dodgers. Hernandez feels like he could probably play more. I don't blame him. Braves make a trade on the 31st. I forgot to talk about this. The Atlanta Braves traded, what's his name? Oh, Jorge. I think it's Jorge. Jorge Soler to the Angels for... Why do we not give first names here? Canning, whoever Canning is. I think he's actually a minor leaguer. Okay, so let's go to November 1st. Okay, here we go. November 1st. Snell opts out of contract. So Snell opted out of the Giants. I told you about Cole, but that didn't happen. That's been gone back on. Manaea intends to opt out of deal with Mets. Sean Manaea is set to become a free agent. Expect him to stay. Or, and this is a very big or, I could see Manaea coming to the Yankees. I could see Cashman focusing on Manaea. I just can. I don't know why. I just can. And Yankees reportedly view Alonso as backup plan for Soto. So, here's my thing on Soto. I'll talk about it now. Because I've been goaded, if you can imagine, to people that are watching. If you know what goaded is, if my kids, they don't know what goaded means. I've been goaded at work by one particular guy. And I take it because it is what it is. He's a Dodger fan. He says Soto's going to the Dodgers. I love to know this guy's sources because I don't think they're even credible. If it's his own gut feeling, that's fine. I get it. But I'm going by credible sources I read in Sports Illustrated, on CBS Sports, on Fox Sports, ESPN. Those are the credible sources. That's who I follow. And if you don't get it off of those 4, or Bleacher Report. Bleacher Report and The Athletic are the two outside that are actually good. My point is, if you know Soto is going to the Dodgers, back it up. Because if you don't tick me off. Because I know better than probably you. And I had to get that out. Like this, I try not to be argumentative at work, but that's what I had to say. And Tamba, if you're on, you know who I'm talking about when I say Amir. He's just that confrontational, and I had to get that out. He better have sources, because I have mine. So my feeling is it's 50-50 for Soto, because there's a lot of takers. So my hope is Soto stays and wants to be ahead or behind of Judge in the lineup. I feel, and this is just a feeling, I don't know, I definitely don't know if this is true, but it's from what things I've heard him say and things that I've seen on TV. I don't think he likes Aaron Boone. I could be wrong. I don't think Soto likes Aaron Boone. If that's true, does signing Soto mean you get rid of Boone? Just a thought. Now, let me pontificate on Pete Alonso to the Yankees. If I'm Brian Cashman, I'm flat out saying no. Look at his batting average. Look at his lack of production. He does not walk. He strikes out. Yes, he's semi-clutch, but he's nowhere near Derek Jeter clutch. Clutch. Clutch is not even a thing analytics goes by, and for righteous sake, of course it won't, because clutch is gut. Okay, and gut only works so much. Gut, you know what gut works in the playoffs? That's where, because you see things you don't normally see. It's more expansive. That's the playoffs. That's why analytics doesn't work as much in the playoffs. That's why you tinker with your lineup if your lineup isn't right, because you have the analytics lineup and you don't have the gut lineup. And when I say the gut lineup, I talk about what happened. Well, what was the lineup in baseball before, let's say, 1999, 2000, 2001, when this analytics started happening, the sabermetrician stuff? It was gut. Your best batter, what batted third. Your best home run hitter, your strongest player, batted fourth. And your guy to back up the fourth guy was also batting fifth. The Mets and Yankees and a bunch of other teams I remember doing it. Mark McGwire batted fourth. Darryl Strawberry batted fourth. Cecil Fielder batted fourth. Like these home run hitters batted fourth. Why is Judge second or third? And then to put our catcher in the 4 spot to behind Judge, or Chazz behind Stanton in the 5 spot. And Chazz can't hit a home run, but he's not that home run, he doesn't effort that. He just doesn't. Chazz would be a great number 1. I fear Torres is gone. Just don't. I got to put that out there too. I think Glaber's done. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong, because I do like Glaber. I think Glaber's gone. So we're going to need a new second baseman. Chazz can move over the second, but or give that to Cabrera. We do need a first baseman. I just don't think it's Pete Alonso. You know who I would take? I will take Paul Goldschmidt. Give me Goldschmidt in that spot. He's a right-hander who actually can hit. So you want to put Judge 4 and put Goldschmidt 3 and put Stanton 5, and then you just work from there. I could manage this team just on that alone. And hell, have Soto 2 or Soto 1 if you could still sign Soto. I kept my phone on here. That's good. Anyway, so that's that. So I didn't see. Oh, the Brewers. That's who it is from. So what that is with the two-time closer, the Brewers. I didn't even get to that because there was so much to talk about with Soto. Brewers Williams on the trade block. According to Mark Feinstein, the Brewers declined a $10.5 million club option on closer Devin Williams, and the source says that the two-timer remains under club control, so he could be on the trade block. Well, the Mets don't really need him. The Yankees could use possibly if they could even think of it to get a trade for that. I sense he's going to go somewhere else, west or central. So, all right. Did I have this here? That's that. The GM meetings. I don't see Shutterman's or Mintz's free agents. It might have been in my email. So I'll skip that. I'll just read a couple things. One is it's Brian Hawk. Here we go. I do have this. So, Brian Hawk, again, another Brian Hawk story. Well, how might the Yankees offseason shake out? It would prove to Aaron Boone's second to last drive to manage a game at Yankee Stadium this season, though he has navigated the construction headaches off the major Deegan Expressway. He always pontificates in the first paragraph. No, we're going to win, cradling a football in his office in Game 4. Is this old? Hold on a second. Monday, November 4th. So, okay. So he just pontificated about the World Series. So here's the key off-season dates that we all need to think about and remember as we're going forward in the next couple months. So we got Monday. I told you about the free agents. General manager meetings Tuesday through Thursday. So today's Tuesday. It's today through Thursday. That's general manager meetings in San Antonio. November 19th. Let's see what day that is. November 19th is a Tuesday. So episode 63. Players must accept qualifying offers by 4 p.m. and teams must protect prospects from the Rule 5 draft by 6 p.m. that day. Now, if you don't know the Rule 5 draft, go play MLB on PlayStation. Like, they have that. Like, you got to protect 40. You're 25, obviously, or 26 that are on your team, and another 14 that you could have on your team in the next year. Now, what the Rule 5 is if a team picks a player off another team, that player has to immediately go to the top 26 players on the team. And if they cut that player goes back to the original team it was on. So that player who gets drafted in a Rule 5 draft will essentially get some time playing in Major League Baseball. Got a comment. I think with the Mets, give Alonso a nice 4-year contract, nowhere near top dollar. Give a 2-year opt-out. If he hits better, he can have more money. Well, what you're saying there, and I actually agree with Start Today, that if he hits better, look, you get more money. What that's called is an incentive contract. Most of these guys, in some respect, have incentive contracts of some sort. We just don't hear about it. I don't know about giving him a 4-year contract because here's the thing. You give him a 4-year contract, that's 120 right there. Now, I know Uncle Stevie has that. The issue is, do you want Alonso 4 years, 120? Because he's not taking 100 and possibly getting 140. I don't think he's doing that because I don't think Boris is his agent, but if it is, I know Boris isn't doing that. So you have to play the game of what they'll take. And that's why I don't want the Yankees to opt. He's not the right option. For the Yankees, it would be Goldschmidt. I just don't see Alonso. I mean, I could be wrong with Alonso. Like that, a change in scenery in the same town might do him better. But I'm not gonna put that. If I hear that in 2-3 weeks, maybe, but that's not something that I'm gonna fall back on. But if you can get him for 4 years, 120, if the Mets will actually do that, I think it'll happen. So let's see. By 8 p.m. on the 22nd, which is 3 days later, teams must formally tender contracts to players not guaranteed contracts, including those of who are eligible for arbitration. Anyone who is non-tendered will become a free agent. Plain and simple. In Dallas, Texas, December 9th through the 11th will be the winter meetings. They're not in Florida. They're in Dallas this year. Including the MLB Draft Lottery, which is on December 10th, and the Rule 5 Draft, which is on December 11th. Most of these things you can see online, like the Draft Lottery and the Rule 5 Draft. And I guarantee you MLB Network will probably have something of that sort. They've done the MLB Draft now for the last 2 years, so it's more than that, maybe 4 or 5 years. So they'll probably do that. At least talk about it. Like that's it. So this is why dates are a big thing. Maybe I'll post it up next week. I'll talk about it next week again to remind people this is coming up. We'll get ready to go on MLB Network if you have MLB Network and tape it, because they only have it at certain times. So you don't know if you're gonna be home or not. That's what I do anyway with my YouTube TV. So December 15th is the end of the 2024 international signing period. So you can only sign international players through December 15th. January 10th, my brother's birthday, Kevin Kawas's birthday. Another Yankee fan in the family. No, there's only three brothers, 3 boys. We're all Yankee fans. On his birthday, in 2025, eligible players and their teams exchange arbitration figures on that day. On January 15th, started the new international signing period. So that old signing period ends December 15th. You get a new one a month later. On January 25th, 2025, the 100th Annual Baseball Writers Association of America New York Chapter Dinner will take place at the New York Hilton Midtown, including presentations of hardware of the league's MVPs, Cy Young Award winners, and notable recipients. Yay, wonderful. Let's see. Who are the Yankees free agents? So, as we've talked about proficiously, I think that's the word. Soto is out there with at least 5 to 6 different suitors. Other Yankee free agents include left-hander Tim Hill. Wouldn't mind having him back. Right-hander Clay Holmes. We'll see if we want him back. Right-hander Tommy Kahnle. I've heard a lot of people, Yankee fans, who don't want him back, and I can understand that. I'll take him, but we'll see. Jonathan Loaizaga. He was hurt, so if he can come back and pitch, let's bring him back. Anthony Rizzo, he's done. If he doesn't retire, he's gonna find. You might see him as a Met. I could see Anthony Rizzo as a Met. So yeah, start today. Sorry, I think you're gonna get Anthony over than Pete. Second baseman Gleyber Torres is a free agent. It's like I said, I'd take him back, but I'd understand if he finds something somewhere else, because we have guys that can play down in AAA. Lou Trevino, right-handed pitcher, and also Alex Verdugo. Verdugo's done too. We got Dominguez. He's coming up. That ain't happening. Will any free agents be back in 2025? Well, besides obviously Cole and Soto, payroll was unsustainable long term. Soto seemed to enjoy his year in pinstripes, but if he intends to score a record-setting deal, one report is a target of $700 million. There is talk that it's going to be anywhere between $600 and $750 for 11 to 13 years. The year AVV, the average value of it, would be up there over 30 to 35. I'm not doing the math. You guys can do the math. So much more Yankees offseason hinges upon that decision of Soto, which is true. Soto's first. Let's be real. Soto's first. Everybody else is coming second. Which players have contract options? So Luke Weaver, the Yankees exercised him. He could be our closer unless we get somebody else. They declined Rizzo, his $17 million. We're not paying $17 million for a guy who can't barely play anymore. Do we have QOs, no. Yankees that are eligible for arbitration. Here's where it gets interesting. John Birdie, possibility to take that infield spot. JT Brubaker, right-handed pitcher. My guess he's a reliever. Jazz Chisholm, I wouldn't mind keeping him. Nestor Cortez, he could be done. I don't know if they offer him arbitration. Scott Effross, possibly. Trent Grisham, possibly, as that fourth outfielder. It's very possible. Mark Leiter, I think he's a done deal. Tim Meza, I think is a done deal. Clark Schmidt, I want to say 90% yes. There's no guarantee with Clark Schmidt, but I think that because they now have made him a starter, you kind of want to keep that, in my opinion. And then Jose Trevino, catcher. I think we can get rid of Jose. I could be wrong on that. If he wants to stay the backup, we got Austin Wells. He's our starter. He's going to be the starter. All right, and then the payroll. Okay, payroll's at $244 million for tax purposes in 2025. It could be up to $300 million by next year. That's a possibility if they sign Soto. Judge is making. Sorry, I said Judge is making 40. He's 30. He's making 40. Cole's 36. Soto's annual, if he were to get it, they surmise at $50 million per year. So 50 plus 40 is 90. 90 plus 36 is 126. So 3 players alone would have 126 million guaranteed per year to them. It's a lot, but this is kind of why I'm pushing my son to baseball. This is where the money is. Like they're set at $40 million per year. I'd be set. I could live in New York City for the rest of my life and be set. And Stanton's owed $32 million in 25, but declining each year after that. So it goes down. He's one of those declining contracts that is Stanton. So to stay under the top tax tier, though, it would need to scrimp and save in multiple other areas. This is why I said, you got kids in AAA. Why not? Why not bring the AAA kids up? Volpe worked out. Dominguez is probably going to work out. I know Ben Rice, but you stuck him at... You make Ben Rice the backup to Austin Wells, I think that could be a plus for him. Don't stick him at first. Like, he struggled there. There's no doubt he struggled. Now, the Yankees need to protect the notable prospects. These are the prospects they're talking about. Infielder Caleb Durbin seems to be one of those 40 that they have to protect. Also, right-hander Zach Messinger, who's the club's 17th ranked prospect. I think that's it. I went through everything out of order. Yeah, so I think that's it for that. I'm not doing meetings. I already talked about that. 4 things to watch for. Got another comment. What's good, bro? You covering the election? I am not. I said it before. I guess you didn't hear me. I apologize. I am not covering the election, man. Sorry, man. I don't do politics on this. I don't. Other than yeah, he's not covering the election. I would do it if and only if I was getting paid. I hate to say it like that. I'm not going to put myself out there to be bantered back and forth about this, that, and everything else unless I get paid to do it. It's as simple as that. You know, I have other things that I want to talk about that can be debated about, that it doesn't get as violent, verbally violent, if you know. Let's put it this way. I'll say this. I got verbally violent today at work. It was in my office and we had a nice little conversation. But it got loud. And I put my point to what I am and why. But did it at work in an office where only 4 people heard me. And the 3 other people that heard me were almost like clapping. Let's just put it that way. So, another comment. We're talking about Chazz is sports and maybe one day boxing. No boxing, bro. That's a dead sport to me. But unless we get some revival out of wrestling, I don't know. I don't see it. So, I saw this on Facebook yesterday, and I wanted to shout this guy out. I think it's a possibility. So, predicting starting rotation from Sean Doherty on Facebook. I put it on Facebook on public that I'm talking about this, but we'll see if he even comes on or sees it. Cole, Burns, Snell, Rodon, Holmes. Now Holmes is interesting. That means you bring him back. I would put Schmidt in that, but that's fine. Burns, if we could get Burns and Snell now, like we were trying to get Snell last year, if we can get Burns and Snell now, with Rodon, with anybody who's in that 5, and it probably is Schmidt more than anybody else. Like that was honest. That's honestly my rotation right now. If I talk about it. So Doherty, you're 4 out of 5. If we can get those two, that's a great rotation. That's a better rotation than probably anybody will have, and I'd be good with that. All right, I'm gonna stop talking about baseball because there's a lot of football to talk about. So in the confidence pool, week 9 winners. Mike Tice, first place with 238 points. You know what the total is for points? If you won everything? 240. He missed his 1-pointer. And he texted me earlier, and I got to pay him later after I do this. You know what he lost? The Giant game. He picked the Giants at 1. Most of us Giants fans did not pick the Giants, and indubitably so. We did well. And as you can see, I got second place. I had 230. I lost 1 game. But I lost it at 5 points. I picked New Orleans. And Carolina won. Everybody but the winner had New Orleans over Carolina in the pool. And good for Mike to somehow come up with that, be the only one out of 34 people to actually have that. That's impressive. So Mike Tice, congratulations. I'll send you your money after this is over. Season leaders. So I thought I brought it with me. I could be wrong. Maybe I didn't. Nope, it's in there. So I can go on it on here. I can tell you on here. Let's see, go to my season standings. It's going to go backwards because I haven't moved. Still only one person picked. That's me. That's funny. I'll get to that, what I just said in a minute. I'll talk about that. So leaders right now for the season. Larry Blumenthal, LL Cool J, 1630. Let's see, 42 points back in second place is Mike Tice. 42 points back. And it's a tie for second. Mike Tice and Khadijah Wakefield, both 1588. They're 42 points back at first place. Fourth place is Andrew Fuentes, 1572. Fifth place, Paul Garner, 1536. Tied for sixth, actually, with Boob Lover himself, Angelo Quinones, both 1536. So they're just under 100 behind him. In seventh place, Mike Wojcik, the winner from the first 2 weeks, still sticking in the top 10. So he's got 1534. He's just under 100. At exactly 100 behind in eighth place, Patrick Dillahunt. He's at 1530. In ninth place, KK. Wow, I'm forgetting his name. Hold on a second. I can go to player list. I don't see him anymore because he works third shift somewhere else now. Kelvin, that's it. Kelvin is in ninth place with 1526. And guess who's in 10th? After my 2 first places and a second place, I'm in 10th at 1510. Not too bad. Behind me, Deuces, Jeff Blumenthal, and Terrorist, Jeff Zawadzki. Mike Hearns is in 13th. Adamir is in 14th. Steve Remy, my buddy who used to be at Cary, now in Texas. Steve is in 15th place with 1456. Bunch of people near that are farther down. Anybody can win any week. Simple as that. Anybody can win any week. And this is what I've told people. And I think Angela, who's in 29th right now, knows this. She's won 2 and still been in the bottom. It can happen. You can win and still be in the bottom, and it's okay. As long as you win, that means you're getting something. So, 2 comments. Let's see. Chazz is sports and maybe one day boxing. Oh, Mike Tyson. Yeah, well, here's the thing. Mike Tyson is not a boxer. Mike Tyson, yes, boxer. I might cover that pay-per-view. I might talk about that pay-per-view with no, what's his name? Jake Paul, I believe. Is the other Paul is in WWE, but he's not even doing much of it as he used to. Banners. Here we go. So that's the season leaders. Good luck with this week. I already picked my picks, and I will tell you who I picked in my pick 6. So Tampa, if you hear this, this is my pick 6. Oh, I'm sorry. This is last week's pick 6. And guess what I did? I told you I already went 13-1, right? Or 14-1. I went 14-1. So last week I had the Giants winning. I'm sorry, I had Giants losing 31-10. It actually came close. 27-22. I had the Jets beating Houston. They actually beat them by more. I had Jacksonville losing to Philly. Let me talk about this Philly game. I watched a little bit of it, and then we watched the rest of it in the car taking my kids home. And I'm going to have to agree with every Philadelphia analyst in Philly. If you're down there in the South Jersey and Philly area, or you have Odyssey and can listen to 94 WIP, I recommend you actually listening to that this past week. Try to find the clips of it. I've seen a few of them on Facebook. I saw like 10 of them today in Reels. Like, these guys are rightfully upset that, yes, we won the game, but the coach acted stupidly on 3, and if actually more plays, and left 9 points on the board. You kept that team in the game. Lawrence doesn't throw that interception, you're fine. But because let me rephrase. Because he throws that interception, you're fine. If he doesn't and they score, Sirianni, what are you doing? Dude, I'm not even a fan. I heard what Beth was saying as I'm driving. And what Beth was saying is everything that these analysts on WIP, on 97.5, it's 94.1 and 97.5 in Philly, they're upset, and they have the right to be. You play a better team like this, you're not winning the game. And you can't keep losing games when Washington keeps winning. Washington's the team to beat, not the Giants, not the Cowboys. They're done. We'll probably get a win this weekend because we're going to Germany. We win away from New York for whatever reason. Daniel Jones can win away from New York. Guess what? Daniel Jones, you go somewhere else. We'll win there. We'll get somebody else. Yeah, I'm there already. If Philly wants to win, if Philly wants to keep their fans happy, if Philly wants to keep my wife happy, you'll stop being stupid on the sideline. Feed Saquon. Let Jalen do his thing with his receivers. Keep the defense on the sideline as much as you can. I'm not even an Eagles fan. I'm trying to tell you this. This is ridiculous. And then of course you win the game. You go into the locker room. You're so positive you won the game, and you know your team's not calling you out because you got the best player who, when he's healthy, and Saquon Barkley, leaping over somebody backwards, giving him his butt, saying, "Kiss my you-know-what." That's what he did. It's probably the best. Let's put it this way. That play will be best play at the ESPYs, best play at NFL Honors, best play of the decade, of the year. I know There's no one-handed catch that's going to be better than spinning around, jumping over somebody backwards. There isn't. It'd have to be a no-look pass to someone who had his eyes closed catching a ball. Like, that's what you'd have to do and see that. Like, that's the only way that happens. That was the best play ever. Quantifiably, ever. Eagles, you're lucky you have a healthy Saquon. You have also a better line than we did, and players need to not forget that. Someone commented, I think it was Micah Parsons, Dallas, who needs to shut his mouth. Worry about what's going on in Dallas, because you were teammates with Saquon. You know how good he is. Oh, good for you. Good for you. You know how good he is. Guess what? You weren't in New York when he was playing behind crap offensive lines. You were beating New York. Did you forget that? Micah Parsons needs to shut up. Figure out what he wants to do in Dallas. Because I tell you, that's an S-hole right there. An absolute S-hole. You pay your quarterback $60 million, you have a wide receiver that's $34 million, and they can't get on the same page. I can't believe I'm starting to feel bad for Dallas. I don't want to, but I'm starting to. I only went over 3 games. Jesus. Tell them how you really feel, Chazz. We got your back. Yes, I said S-hole. I didn't say the word. You adults know what the word is. I don't have to say it. I can say the yes and I can say the hole. Okay? It's a way to get around stuff. I grew up in a Catholic school atmosphere. I know how to get around certain things if I need to. Okay. Now that I'm there, I'm done. Okay. Next 3 games. Dallas at Atlanta. I had Atlanta winning 27-21. Oh, wait. It was 27-21. I'm patting myself on the back. I actually picked the game, and I thought it was college, but it was actually this. It was NFL. I got a game to the letter of the numbers. 27-21. I got it. CBS Sports, Fox Sports, I mean. I'm right here. Hire me, please. Anyway. I had Indianapolis losing to Minnesota. The Minnesota actually kept it a little closer than I expected. And then, of course, Kansas City. I didn't finish that. Okay, but it's because it ended late last night. Let me see the score. What was the score last night? Kansas City 30-24. Well, I was there. Oh, damn. Hold on. I have to put this in. Let's see. That's a win. Oops. Apologize. Kansas City, KC. 30-24. Six and 0, baby. All right, I went 6 and 0. That's pretty damn impressive. Now, I don't know what my record was. I'll have to go back. Let me go back there. Okay, so I actually went 6 and 0 this week for the first time ever. 6 and 0. Go figure. Rest of week 9. Let's see the 2 comments. Do you cover Bucking Blue? You're funny. Do I cover hockey or pro bass fishing? I don't cover either. I know a little bit of hockey. Pro bass fishing, I've never fished in my life. I may be from New Jersey, but I'm not one of those guys that fish. Hey, look who's on. I'm watching for a little bit. Okay. No problem, Aiden. You can watch everything else later. I do understand. I'm shocked you're on so late, actually. 8:53. Wow. Okay, so the rest of the week. So we talked about New York, Houston. Maybe I didn't. I figured that New York was going to beat Houston. Houston hasn't looked for a 6-2 team. They're not a good team. Go figure. I said Dallas, Atlanta. Got that. Shockingly, I got that right. Dallas couldn't come back. They tried. They couldn't do it. Atlanta was just too strong. You like that? Yeah, he won. You like that? Anyway, Baltimore found themselves, beat Denver 41-10. Good for them. Buffalo in a scrum in Buffalo beat Miami 30-27. Watch out for Miami. I got to say, watch out for Miami. Another comment. Could this be my kid again? I'm not your... Nope. That Charger NJ... No. No. Charger NJ is my kid. Bucking Blue. Yeah, Charger NJ is one of my two children who are actually watching in Pennsylvania right now. New Orleans losing to Carolina. This was the game that everybody lost, except for Mike Tice. Carolina came back out of the blue, and I forget who their quarterback is now, but I think it's an old guy. I can't remember. We'll see. I'll see him in Germany on Sunday morning. But they come back and beat New Orleans in New Orleans. Actually, New Orleans coach now has been fired because of this game. Go figure. Cincinnati, Las Vegas. Cincinnati destroyed Vegas in Cincinnati. About time Cincinnati showed up. The Chargers beat Cleveland. Cleveland is a restless team. Yeah, the fact that the Chargers scored 27 points in Cleveland, and Cleveland couldn't muster up more than 10, that tells me something about Cleveland. They might be done. Washington barely beats the Giants. Like, the Giants are fighting. They really are fighting, which scares me, which means we're now... And you know what pick we're at right now? As a Giants fan, I had to look this up today. If this were the end of the season, we'd be the 6th pick. Who do we get 6th? Daniel Jones. I'm wary of that 6th pick. Anyway, Tennessee barely beats New England. Tennessee's proven that they're not going to be beating big teams if they're barely beating the low teams. Arizona destroyed Chicago. Something's going on in Chicago. I heard a lot of their offensive line got hurt. That's a problem. But they still have their weapons. Let's see what their weapons can do going forward. Philly, Jacksonville, I talked extensively about. I'll leave that alone. Detroit over Green Bay in the rain, in the cold rain. Detroit won. I think Stephen A. Smith is right. If you saw what Stephen A. Smith said today in his top five today, Detroit is the best team going right now over Kansas City. That's definitely debatable, but for how Kansas City has underperformed, and I'll get to that game in a minute, that's the reason why Detroit's number one at this moment. 3 more games. Los Angeles Rams beat Seattle in Seattle. Seattle's not the 12th man home anymore. It just isn't. Los Angeles goes up there in a division match and beats them in overtime too, 26-20. Like that was a good end of game. It was one of the 4 o'clock games. It was the last 4 o'clock game too. The 8 o'clock game, Sunday night game, Minnesota beats Indianapolis 21-13. Darnold shows up on a Sunday night game. Go figure. But he just had to be in a different uniform. Simple as that. And in Indianapolis, they're not a strong team too. And the Monday night game, Kansas City, Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay gave a run. Tampa Bay absolutely gave a run. Kansas City, it's possible. And their game went to overtime. They won that 30-24 in overtime. It's possible there was a hold on multiple calls in that overtime. Nevertheless, Kansas City won that game. So what are my picks for week 10? Can I go 6-0 again? Let's find out. Okay, I have the Giants winning, beating Carolina 31-14. I have the Jets winning in Arizona by 3. I have Cincinnati losing to Baltimore 35-21. I got Pittsburgh losing to the Washington Commanders 31-27. And I have Philadelphia beating Dallas in Dallas 26-21. So Washington and Philly will still be at the top in my in the NFC East if everything goes right here, and the Giants will actually be ahead of Dallas. Didn't see that one coming, did we, Dallas? And then lastly, the Monday night game, I feel the Rams will beat Miami. Miami's good, but they're going to LA, they're going to SoFi. Somehow, some way, these LA teams got to win in SoFi. They just have to. Comments. Tampa Bay is a sleeper, maybe. What do you think? No. You're in a division with Atlanta. I would have said New Orleans if they didn't F it up. But now it's just Atlanta. I think Atlanta is the winner of that division. And there's too many strong teams in the NFC. Tampa's going to have to keep winning. Tampa doesn't win, they're not in. Remember, there's 7 that go in, but only 3, because there's 4 divisions. There's only 3 wild cards. So Tampa right now is not that team. There's if I were to go to the standings, let's see. Let me go to ESPN. Go to NFL.com. That'll even be better. Let's see. If I go to where the standings are, this is going to be slow because I have a couple things. I only have a couple things up, so I don't know what the heck is going on. Which team most improved at the trade deadline? I don't even think anybody did yet. There's only a couple teams traded. Anyway, do I need to see stats? No. Teams? Standings? Yes. So let's look at the standings since Start Today wants to talk about Tampa Bay. Let's go to Tampa Bay. Let's see. Tampa Bay is second at 4-5 in the NFC South. Atlanta's 6-3. Other teams in the NFC. So let's talk about the wild cards. 6-2 Philadelphia, 6-2 Minnesota, 6-3 Green Bay, 4-4 Rams, 4-4 San Francisco. Tampa Bay's going to have to win out. Simple as that. Yeah, Tampa's 4-5, exactly. They're below the Rams and the Niners. One of those two teams is going to be there. Minnesota's going to be there. Green Bay's going to be there, although they could fall off. You know Philly's going to be there. Tampa is going to be the odd man out unless they can start winning. Simple as that. So that's my 6. Hopefully I go 6-0 again. There's really not many news and notes for Week 10. Let's see. Latest news. I'll go to that since I'm here. Let's see if we can get some latest news. League implements new deadlines for 2025 NFL Draft special eligibility. No. I'll talk about that on a slow week. Steelers land Mike Williams in trade with the Jets. Okay, so the Jets traded Mike Williams to the Steelers. Didn't I say Steelers are playing Washington? You know what? I don't think that helps the Steelers enough. I think that Washington will still win. Commanders trade for Saints 4-time Pro Bowler Marshawn Lattimore. I think that helps. So Lattimore's probably going to play on Williams. I think Lattimore wins that battle. Pure and simple. NFL news roundup, latest league stuff. Raiders hiring former head coach Norv Turner as senior advisor following all the firings. Okay. And Cowboys owner Jerry Jones. Dak Prescott hamstring likely headed to injured reserve. Dallas, now you're done. Sorry, every Dallas fan I know. Or is it sorry, not sorry? Anyway. Man, that was a lot. And we're now going to get more. Just about to hit the 1 hour mark. Okay. Let me get out of this NFL. Let me get out of pool host. Let's go to week 10 picks. These weren't as good. I got San Diego State and Boise State. Boise State destroyed San Diego State. The game of the week, I lost. I said it was going to overtime. It did not. Ohio State did win in Happy Valley. Go figure. So I'm not sorry I missed it. I wish I did watch it, but I all of Saturday I did other things. Was not home for any football. Duke at Miami. I didn't think Duke would show up. They did a little, but Miami had more. Next, Ole Miss at Arkansas. Ole Miss destroyed Arkansas. Air Force and Army. Battle of the military. I thought Army would win, and they destroyed Air Force. Air Force must have a bunch of the thinnest guys on the line. That's the only thing I can think of. Minnesota, Illinois. I thought Illinois would win. I was wrong. Minnesota won. Northwestern and Purdue. I had Northwestern winning. They had to go to overtime, and they did win. Stanford at NC State. I had NC State, and they destroyed Stanford. Virginia Tech, Syracuse. Syracuse surprising some people, that's for sure. I had Auburn over Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt, another one. Surprising, better defense than Auburn, that's for damn sure. Now we go to the ranked teams. Number 1, Oregon over Michigan. Easily. Okay, that was that. Okay. Next, number 2, Georgia over Florida. They get beaten by 2. Number 11, Iowa State lost to Texas Tech. Impressively. 23-22. Wow. I mean, that couldn't have been obviously any closer. Indiana beat Michigan State handily, 47-10. Kansas State lost to Houston. Houston, a pretty low-ranked team. I don't know what happened with Kansas State. I really don't. That's just a shock to me. UCLA beat Nebraska, by a touchdown instead of losing. North Carolina beat Florida State handily. Arizona and UFC. I wish I saw that game. 56 points. Damn. That's a big offensive game right there. Navy actually lost to Rice. Navy's usually been pretty good against teams that are lower seeded. We got comments. You should get C4. I want to get C4 as a sponsor. Get some free C4 to drink on C4 if you're watching. I will put it in the camera. There we go. My C4 Starburst Cherry. It's actually Beth. No, Beth, I'm sorry. She's the strawberry. I like the cherry. So, yes. I would love to make a commercial, but I want to get paid for it to do the commercial in the first place. Product placement should be enough, but it's not. So, anyway. Appreciate the, like I said, start today. Be my agent. Get these things done, and we'll talk. Where was I? Okay, I'm here. Okay, more losses. 3 losses in this one. I thought Oklahoma State would beat Arizona State. Incorrect. They lost by 21. Texas A&M was supposed to beat South Carolina. That was the reverse. And Louisville was supposed to lose to Clemson. And in turn, Clemson at home, as the 11th ranked team, lost. Go figure. Next, Wisconsin did lose to Iowa by a lot. Washington did beat USC. Tennessee did beat Kentucky pretty handily. And Pittsburgh did lose by a lot to SMU. SMU is really good. That's a team that could sneak into the top 12. TCU, Baylor. I got that right. Baylor won. Colorado State will beat Nevada by a lot more than I expected. And then, no, it was a little bit of a surprise that Rhode Island did win, but only won by 9. A good team like Rhode Island almost lost that game. That's impressive. So, 166-62 for the year. 18-11 losses last week. So 7 ranked teams lost in week 10, including a team in the top 3. Here's how this past week's mayhem shaped up. So Oregon in the week 11 AP poll is first with all 62 first place votes. Georgia second, Ohio State third, Miami fourth, Texas 5, Penn State 6, and 7 is Tennessee, 8 is Indiana, 9 is BYU, 10 is Notre Dame, 11 is Alabama, and number 12 is Boise State. So if this were to end today, Boise State would be the 12th seed. Boise State, Alabama, Notre Dame, and BYU would be the away teams. The home teams would be Indiana at BYU at Indiana, Notre Dame at Tennessee, Alabama at Penn State. Oh, I'd pay to watch that game. I'd go to Happy Valley to watch that game, and Boise State at Texas. And the top 4 would have byes in Miami, Ohio State, Georgia, and Oregon. Right there, that sounds like a good top 12 right there. That could be fun to watch. Now, that's going to change. Out of the top 12, 1, 2, 3, 4 teams are undefeated. Oregon, Miami, Indiana, and BYU. Suspect if any of those Georgia, Ohio States, Texas, Penn State, Tennessee lose another game, Indiana and BYU are going up. And I'll tell you this much. Notre Dame and Alabama can't lose another game. Notre Dame's got 1 loss. Alabama's got 2. Both of them lose another game, they're out of the top 12. Simple as that. And you got guys like SMU, LSU, Texas A&M chomping at the bit to get up there. And SMU's 8-1. SMU, like I said before when we were talking, SMU's the team I expect to be up there. Army is 8-0. If they keep going up, they keep winning, don't be shocked to see Army up there. So, like I said before, I was on a little late because I was putting my picks in. So I did not write the scores. I'll do that right now. I got California at Wake Forest. I think Wake Forest is going to win that game. So I'll say 21. Wake Forest 27. Okay, Rice at Memphis. I think Rice wins that game. Rice has 31. Memphis will go 17. Okay. Iowa at UCLA. I got Iowa winning that game. We'll go 21. UCLA 17. New Mexico, San Diego State. So that's a tough one. I'll go New Mexico. Say 23. San Diego State 20. And then we'll go to the first game for the number 1 team, Maryland at Oregon. Oregon, I think, is going to easily win this game. Oregon should score 42. Maryland will say, I'll say 13. Okay, so that's saved. Let's put that up there. California, Wake Forest, Rice, Memphis, Iowa, UCLA, New Mexico, San Diego State, and Maryland at Oregon. Okay. Let me do this as you're looking at that. Oops, that's not what I want to do. See, Georgia at Ole Miss. So number 2 at number 16. Georgia should win that game. We'll say 28 to 25. It's going to be a close one, I think. Purdue at number 3, Ohio State. Ohio State's winning that game. Purdue 19. Ohio State 35. Miami at Georgia Tech. Miami will win, but I think it's going to be a little closer. We'll go 28. Georgia Tech 20. Florida at Texas. Texas, in my opinion, is not losing again. If Florida's lucky, they'll get 17 points. Texas, I'm going to say 51. There. Okay, Washington at Penn State. Washington's coming across country. They're not going to do as well. Give them 17 points. Penn State, who I said, and I'm sure they know, they can't lose again, will score 38. Mississippi State at Tennessee. This is another team that they are 7-1. They're unlikely to move out, but they would lose that home game. So I think they're going to win. I think Mississippi State loses. Mississippi State's going to have 14. Tennessee will go 31. Okay. Save that. Go to that. That's what I just did. I'll do my next one. Michigan at Indiana. Michigan will keep it close. We'll go 21 Michigan. Indiana, 31. BYU at Utah. BYU is just that much stronger. I suspect another 35-point game for them. Utah will probably have 21. Let's see. Florida State at Notre Dame. Another one, like I said, Notre Dame's going to win the rest of them, especially when they're teams that they're beatable. I'll go 23 for Florida State. Notre Dame will have 36. Alabama at LSU. I almost want to say LSU. You know what? I'm going to do it. I'm picking LSU to beat Alabama because Alabama's got to go to LSU. I think LSU wins 35-31. Okay. Nevada at Boise State. I'll go, okay, Nevada's not scoring much. I'll say 13. Boise State. Let's go with 48. Okay, Iowa State at Kansas. Iowa State should win this game. 31. Kansas, 21. I gotta hyphenate this. It's not gonna fit. Army should beat North Texas handily. I'm gonna give them 28. North Texas, I think 13. Okay, save. Go there. That's my picks for that. I think I got 3 more. Okay. Clemson at Virginia Tech. Clemson should win, although it'll be tight. I'll say 24 to Virginia Tech 17. Utah State at 20 Washington State. Washington State should win this game handily. Say 35 to Utah State's 17. Okay, Colorado, with their win last week, did get them into first place. Not first place, but better record. Where's Colorado? 6-2. They had 2 losses, 2 bad losses, but they got 6 good wins. I think that'll beat Texas Tech. And that will be Prime's 7th win. It'll be a 35-21 score. Let me guess, you're going to get Food Star today? Do I have a top 5 college team you like as a fan? Well, top 5. Honestly, anybody in the top 5 I like? Let's see. Miami's been hot. I like Miami. I like Oregon, and I really like Texas. Those are the 3. Georgia and Ohio State, I suspect will have their wins, but those out of the top 5, that's what I think. What do you have to say? Bucking, I have to go. I hope to be. I hope to. What is it? Hold on. I have to go. I hope to be on soon. Do you drink anything with the C4? No, it's just C4. That's all it is. It's C4. Yeah, Bucking Blue. When you can come back and watch, like I said, not a big deal. You can fast forward through a bunch of things I know I'm going a little slow here. I apologize. Like I said, I'm going through all these games as best I can. And I'll leave that up. I got 2 more games to pick here. Virginia at Pittsburgh. I do feel Pittsburgh's going to win. That's a 17 points for Virginia and 28 for Pittsburgh. South Carolina at Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt will win this game. Vanderbilt will have 27. South Carolina 21. Okay, save. Got a couple more here. I'll put that on. There we go. Oh, excuse me, guys. Okay, Syracuse at Boston College. Syracuse has been on a tear. I think Syracuse wins again. 31. No, 31. Boston College, 21. West Virginia at Cincinnati. I think West Virginia will win a close one here. 23. If I can get the number right. 23. And then Cincinnati, 20. Minnesota at Rutgers. I think Rutgers gets back on the track. I think Minnesota will only get 17 points in Piscataway. I think Rutgers gets 28. Navy at South Florida. I think Navy gets back on track. Give Navy 24. And South Florida will do 10. Duke at NC State. I think Duke will win this. Because it's not basketball. Well, NC State. You know what? I'm going to go NC State. I say 23 for Duke. NC State 26. Temple at Tulane. So a Philly team at Tulane. I'm going to go Philly team 17. I don't think they do too well. And Tulane 24. Save. Show. There's that. Another comment. I used to be a Miami U fan and Notre Dame fan back in the day. I should start following again. I am actually a Notre Dame fan, but you asked for top 5, so I gave you the top 5. Notre Dame is my number 1. Rutgers is actually Penn State's my number 2, and Rutgers is my number 3. Those are the 3 teams I do follow. Army actually I do is 4, and I'd say Monmouth. Monmouth is my 5 because that's a local team. All right. Back to the banners. So let's see. I got to write this one out. Oklahoma State at TCU. I'm picking TCU. I feel Oklahoma State will have 21. TCU easily 35. Oklahoma at Missouri. Oklahoma 21. Missouri 28. UNLV at Hawaii. Let's go 17 for UNLV. Hawaii 20. Fresno State at Air Force. Second to last one. Fresno State 21. Air Force 24. Monmouth, I think, will beat New Hampshire and beat them handily. Let's go 37 for Monmouth at New Hampshire 27. Okay, I don't know how many games that is. I'll do that later. I'll figure that out later. I know what I am from before, and that's what that is. So this is the last of the last. Oklahoma State all the way through Monmouth. These are my picks for next week. See what happens. Okay, let's talk about Crown Jewel. Happened last Saturday on Peacock. I didn't take out the Halloween Havoc. That's just old. Okay, so the Bloodline did defeat Roman Reigns and the Usos, and I'm curious now on Friday what's going to happen with Roman. This is all going to lead into... Oh, is it still there? Yes, it is. So Roman got kind of beat up, and as he was trying to get away from the Usos, Sami Zayn comes out and unintentionally kicks Roman Reigns in the head. So that's going to come to fruition that there's going to be something coming down the pike at Survivor Series. Usos kicked things off by bringing back their signature tandem offense, but it wasn't long before the Samoan werewolf, Jacob Fatu, brought back the fight, two of them leading to a tense standoff. With the OG bloodline firm in control, Jay rebuffed the crowd's want to the OTC and tagged in his twin brother, miffing Reigns, who stood bewildered in the ring. I watched some of this, and again, I know it's staged and this and that. I'm wondering if it's just a tiff that's going to go by the wayside and they're going to be on the same page, like I said. The hard part's going to be to bring in Sami Zayn as an Uso. Jay's trying to, Jimmy doesn't want it, Roman, I'm sure, really won't want it. So there's going to be some OTC bloodline mischief or mishaps. It's going to happen. Women's Tag Team Champions Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill defeat Damage Control, Chelsea Green, Piper Niven, and Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend. I wish I was home for this. Like I said, I had to go out. I saw the first for a little bit. This I did not see. I wish I did. And that looks like one of the best matches that could have been. Like all the high flyers of the women. Seth Rollins defeats Big Bronson Reed. I got to read this. Seth Rollins stormed back up the ramp to attack Bronson Reed before the match, leading to the all-out brawl before an official could actually gain control. After Reed uses immense strength to down Rollins, he nailed a massive tsunami, only for the Visionary to avoid a second one and nearly win the match with the stomp. A frustrated Rollins continued his assault, but Reed rallied and brutalized the former World Heavyweight Champion and put him in prime position for another stomp. Rollins rolled out of the ring, and Reed chased him with the steel steps, only for the Architect to knock Reed down and hit him in a stomp into the... Oh, wow. So he stomped him into the steel steps, and that's how he won the match. As Rollins limped away up the ramp, he turned back on to see the monstrous Reed back on his feet, seemingly ready for more carnage. Okay, that's interesting. Now, this I'm gonna have to watch it again. World Champ Liv Morgan defeats WWE Women's Champ Nia Jax to become the Women's Crown Jewel Champion. So, defeating Liv Morgan became the first Women's Crown Champion by defeating Nia Jax thanks to Dirty Dominic Mysterio, Raquel Rodriguez, and inadvertently Tiffany Stratton. Let's see. Despite Morgan targeting her legs, Jax powered Morgan onto the top rope and hit her with the Avalanche Samoan drop, but the Women's World Champion still kicked out. As the two superstars battled inside the ring, Miss Money in the Bank Tiffany Stratton hit the scene, but it was chased off by a furious Jax. Stratton decided it was Tiffy time anyway, but Rodriguez neutralized her, followed by Jax taking out everyone on the outside. Dirty Dom inserted himself in the match to distract Jax and the official long enough for Morgan to hit Oblivion to become the first. So she did hit her move, her end move. I can't think. Wow. This is what happens when I talk too much and I don't drink enough. I forget. Anyway, so she won. Good for her. That crown. I mean, that it's a gold studded. I don't think you can even wear it. You just have to put it in your house or something. Kevin Owens and Randy Orton ended no contest. The match hadn't even begun before Kevin Owens absolutely lost his mind. No surprise there. Wait, Orton followed. So Owens attacked Randy Orton's knee with a steel chair as the Viper posed on the ropes and delivered a stunner to the official before assaulting more WWE officials at ring. Orton followed suit and took out several WWE officials, including delivering an RKO to Raw General Manager Adam Pearce. Two superstars continued their war in the crowd before Owens defied gravity by hitting a huge elbow drop on Orton through a pair of tables. This wasn't a shock. U.S. champion LA Knight defeats Carmelo Hayes and Andrade. He's going to stay champion for a while. So I expect that to happen. Do they still do little people matches? They were fun. No, they don't. That hasn't been around in a long time. Start today. That has not been around. So I'm happy that LA Knight won. Knight capitalized on Hayes and Andrade's back and forth by hitting a BFT on Hayes, while Andrade got spiked with a facebuster, allowing the champion to retain his title. Okay. Now, I saw this all over Facebook. Undisputed WWE Champion Cody Rhodes defeats World Heavyweight Champion Gunther to become the first ever men's Crown Jewel champion. Now, it must have been a heck of a match to the point that Gunther even congratulated him, which Gunther doesn't do that. So, it says here, Rhodes preserved and managed to hit a pair of crossroads, but it wasn't enough to keep Gunther down. The Undisputed Champion went for a Super Cody Cutter, but got caught only for him to flip his hips and pin Gunther's shoulders to the mat for a 3 count. So it was an actual pin that he got to win the match. Go figure. Good for him. You know, that's pretty impressive. Now, what happened on Raw after this was definitely interesting. I don't need that anymore. Oh, I don't want Survivor Season. No. I want Raw. Just going to Survivor Series tickets. I don't need tickets. I'm not going to be able to be there. Damien Priest wins the right to challenge Gunther in a chaotic Raw in Riyadh. Let's see the results. So Raw results for last night, which was in Riyadh as well. Everybody was in Riyadh. So this was probably a pre-taped show. Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill crashed Liv Morgan's WWE Crown Jewel Championship celebration. General Manager Anna Pierce announced a women's world title for the #1 Contenders Battle Royal. Io Sky won the Battle Royal to become that's interesting. So Io Sky wins the Battle Royal, to become the #1 contender to the women's world champion Liv Morgan. That's pretty damn impressive. In a historic women's battle royal with everybody, all these women had to be dressed up to the T. I taped her. I'll probably have to watch it tomorrow or Thursday or something. So yeah, historic women's battle royal in Saudi Arabia came down to Lyra Valkyria, Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, and Io Sky. Interesting. Yeah. See, that being the case, I definitely want to take Bianca and Jade out just because each woman's gonna go after the other because Bianca and Jade are not at the point that they're gonna split up. Liv Morgan and Raquel pulled Belair and Cargill out of the ring to the floor to close a double. Okay, so there we go. So Liv and Raquel pulled them out. They almost like did them a favor to an extent. And then Sky and Valkyria, that must have been a hell of a thing to watch. It really was. Okay. The War Raiders defeat the New Day. So the New Day keeps losing. They're going to be broken up. It's just a matter of time that they're both going to be singles competitors. And I'll tell you, especially for Xavier Woods, WWE needs to bring back the lightweight, the cruiserweight championship. These guys are better for that. You could do that. You could spotlight that. You could put them on NXT for all I care if you want. Like that could be a thing. These guys who are that thin, that small, like Tozawa, would be a great cruiserweight championship. There's nothing wrong with the cruiserweight championship. You know, start today. You talked about the little people. Well, the little people now are the smaller guys like Rey Mysterio, Xavier Woods, Tozawa, and more than a few others that they can't really wrestle the big guys. You know, Sami Zayn's the middle guy. Seth Rollins is the middle guy. Gunther is the middle guy. But then you got guys like the War Machines. Like, they're big dudes. I don't know. We'll see if that ever comes to fruition. After a heated confrontation between Sami Zayn and Jimmy Uso, Jey Uso declared Sami Uso is his family and invited him to SmackDown on Friday. Well, Jimmy's not too happy about this. I'll say that. Here's another small guy. Actually, both small guys. Dragon Lee defeats Chad Gable. Two small guys who could actually absolutely do this. Chad Gable put his feet on the ropes in an attempt to steal a win over the Dragon Lee. Zelina Vega knocked them off. And here's another. Make a cruiserweight for the women. Zelina Vega can't compete with some of these big women. I'm sorry, she just can't. This brought Rey Mysterio to the ring to check on Vega. Oh, Ivy Nile knocked Vega out. So that's why Mysterio comes down as the Gable reached out in the ring and attempted to rip off the WWE Famer's mask. See, this stuff's got to stop with the mask. He has it on for a reason. Let's not keep taking it off. Damien Priest defeats Seth Freakin Rollins, Sheamus, and Dirty Dominic Mysterio in a fatal 4-way to become the number 1 contender. Not surprised. Would have liked to see Sheamus, but it is what it is. Damien Priest is the bigger guy. He's the bigger draw. Him against Gunther would be a very big draw. Dirty Dominic attempted to capitalize on the chaos, but Priest caught him and there. No surprise, Dirty Dom was the one he pinned. Okay, before we get to the birthdays, we did lose a couple people this week. This is a big one. Quincy Jones, American Hall of Fame record producer of We Are the World, Thriller, and Bad for Michael Jackson. He also composed Bossa Nova. If you don't know it, it's from Austin Powers. Couldn't think of the name. I'm like, I have the DVD. Austin Powers, the song you hear in the beginning. That's Soul Bossa Nova. That Quincy Jones composed that. And he's also was an arranger and 28-time Grammy winner. He died on Sunday. Also, we had a local gentleman who was a politician. Okay, so I don't know if he was a Republican, Democrat, but he was. His name was Chuck Haytaian, 86 years old. He was an American politician member from 82 to 96 and Speaker of the House of the General Assembly in 1992 to 1996. He died on the 1st. Okay, start today's favorite thing. Birthdays of the week. And yes, Christmas is coming. So yesterday's birthdays include a friend of Beth's that I met many a year ago, Miss Ida Dudick. She's 75 yesterday. And my friend from Acme from many a year ago, whose family lives in Pennsylvania. He's now in Florida near Disney World. And I know he went through a thing with the past couple hurricanes, so I see that they're okay. And happy birthday to Albert. He's a good guy. Got 2 beautiful little kids. And one of these days I'll see him again, I'm sure. So their birthday's yesterday. Today, I'm going to get this name right. Danish Patidia. I worked with him at Amazon. One of my many, many friends at Amazon. Here we go. Start today. Loving the birthdays, right? Of course you love birthdays. So Danish is 67 years old. I'm assuming he's still at Amazon. I still see that it says he works at Amazon. And Matt Horahan, happy birthday. Matt Horahan, one of many Eatontown friends of the family. Whether it's my brother, myself, or my family. Matt, I believe, was Kevin's friend back in the day that I befriended as well. All right. Birthdays for the week. Brian Ford, he was probably on and he missed it. Brian Ford, tomorrow, happy birthday. Brian Ford is Beth's ex-husband. He's helped me out with this podcast from time to time. Happy birthday, Brian. Also, Jesse Jarks. Jesse is the son of someone I worked with at Acme. He worked at Acme himself for a little bit. 38 years old on Wednesday. Happy birthday. Tara Reddy on Thursday. She is I went to school with her back in St. Jerome, so she's a schoolmate from St. Jerome's in the 80s. Her name then was Tara Jones. Happy birthday, Tara. And then Emery Fields II, 47 years old on Thursday. Emery was one of my many Monmouth regional friends from the 90s. When I was dating Jen, I was hanging out with other people. My brother was there 95 to 98 or 99 or something like that. So Emery was one of those many friends I was able to have and keep in touch with. You know, he's 47 on Thursday. Friday, we got a couple. James Ramsey, 47, an Eatontown friend. That's more of the family Eatontown friends of the Kawasses. So James Ramsey, happy birthday. Debbie Latshaw, weirdly enough, used to be in one of my football pools back when it wasn't online. So Debbie, happy birthday on Friday. Lisa, I think she's friends with Lisa Flood. Lisa, you might want to get her back into the pools, at least the boxes, Super Bowl boxes. Jeffrey Thornton, happy birthday. This is interesting. I just noticed this, and I probably noticed this before when we've been friends on Facebook, and then we connected because we were CBA classmates way back when. He's 48 in November. That means he was even later than I was, with going into the class in 1994. So that's interesting. And then on Saturday, Kathy Vizicaro Burks. It's her birthday. Her father lived next door to me in Eatontown. She was one of, I want to say, 7 kids. She might be the youngest daughter, if I remember correctly. Kathy Burks, it's your birthday on Saturday. Happy birthday. Julia O'Grady, another classmate of my schoolmate, not even classmate, schoolmate. Her brothers Kevin and Jeremiah were 1 and 2 grades above me. Julia was at least 2 or 3 below me at St. Jerome. So happy birthday, Julia. On Sunday, we got 2 bowlers. Sean LePage, I don't think he's in Jersey anymore. I want to say Florida, possibly North Carolina or Ohio, one of those 3. So happy birthday to Sean. He's 54. Ken Sweeney, I just saw him no more than 4 months ago, but unfortunately it was for a sad thing. Our friend and his friend and my former bowling teammate, Nancy's wake, Nancy Lisco, or Nancy Carr, I should say. Ken Sweeney, it's his birthday, 61 years old on Sunday. Happy birthday, everybody. Again, I hope everybody voted that watches and will watch. I don't talk politics. That's another show for another time. We'll keep it sports. We'll keep it WWE. We'll keep it anything that's entertainment, that pops up. I'll probably do some movies next week. We're obviously baseball off season. It's slow, but there will be things pop up. So we'll see on that. The ticker down, that goes. Like I said, if anybody wants to join onto the conversation, contact me. I'm more than willing to, put someone on with me to banter back and forth. Okay. Trying to figure out how to answer that. It's actually Jesus' birthday next month. Start today. We gotta talk. Santa's birthday. If okay. In the Christian world, and I'm basing this off of things I know and I remember, and someone can tell me if I'm right or wrong, especially Laura, Laura Biatch. She went to Catholic school. She might know this too. I'm pretty sure January 6th is the feast of Saint Nicholas. I don't know if we know Santa's birthday, but the feast of Saint Nicholas is January 6th. December 25th is the Christian Catholic day we celebrate Jesus' birth. That's the birthday. Even though there might be other things out there that Jesus was not born on December 25th. But that's a show for another day. I'm not even going to talk about that. But Christians and Catholics celebrate Jesus' birth on December 25th. It's not Santa Claus. Start today. Are you religious? That's what I don't think you are if you thought Santa's birthday was December 25th. Okay, that's something that Toys R Us, KB Toys, and everybody else made now it's Target and Walmart and Amazon that made Christmas a marketing holiday. But Santa's birthday is not. That is January 6th, where it's St. Nicholas. Schooling starts today. That should be an episode. How does school start today? Too bad Bucking Blue didn't see that. Anyway, you love Toys R Us. Of course you did. No, everybody did. If you're my age or around my age, you love Toys R Us. Anyway, so like I said, if you want to join me in conversation, contact me there. And then next week, November 12th is episode 62. I should be on time. I hope. There's no guarantee. But remember your veterans, because the day before November 12th is November 11th, which is Veterans Day. So remember your veterans. I have more than a few in my family, including a CBA Hall of Famer who just became a CBA Hall of Famer. He's a naval officer in the U.S. Navy. He is a veteran and one of the veterans I think about on a daily basis. So, we'll leave it at that, and then hopefully we have a good football week. I like to go 6-0 again. This would be nice. If NFL.com wants to hire me, or C4 wants to pitch in on giving me advertisement money, I'm good with that too. You just got to email me. I'll put this back up. Email me at chazzroyalty@gmail.com. I'm open to all and any commercials. I have no problem with that. Standing props are only so much. I know that, but to get the people from C4 to contact me, I need more subscribers. So like I said from the beginning, if you like what you see and like what you hear, please subscribe. Hit that button in the right hand corner. You'll get the times when I'm on, which is usually every Tuesday. And as a preface, I'm going to tell everybody now, and I'll keep telling everybody, that's going to change in February, maybe even January. Once the Monday night football games are gone, I'm going back to Monday night. So I can prepare on Sunday into Monday, and boom, Mondays I can work through that week. That's how I do it. So that's what I'll do. Until then, like I said, arrivederci. Have a good week. I'll see everybody on the 12th.